Welcome to the Chronic Health Collective. This isn't just a community, it's your fresh start. We gathered the best coaches and experts to help you reclaim your energy, heal you from the inside out, and to live with purpose. Whether you're longing for more energy, deeper healing in your relationships, or a life that feels more aligned and fulfilling, you're not alone anymore. Hi, I'm Mandy, and
I am Minna.
so today we're talking about something that we believe changes everything when it comes to health, healing, beauty, and of course longevity. We're talking about the body's terrain. Now, what do I mean by terrain? We mean the environment your body is living in every single day: your skin, your cells, your energy, your recovery, your toxic burden, your oxygen, and of course, your stress load, your ability to repair.
And that sounds like a lot. And the truth is, it is a lot. And the body can only thrive as well as you handle your terrain, which is a lot. And that's why we're here to talk about it.
Exactly. I think there's too many people that normalize feeling tired as aging faster, looking older, recovering slower. And, so many people are just not feeling like themselves. And to be honest, we don't accept that at all. We believe that our bodies have this innate intelligence. We believe that our body knows how to heal itself when it's properly supported. And of course, we believe longevity is about extending your health span and not just your lifespan.
So today we're going to walk through why we create the products and the services that we do. We do to help support a better terrain for your body.
Exactly. And I think it'll be fun to kick off with starting with skincare and why that matters so much more than people think. Then we'll go into some other topics along the way in segment 2 and segment 3 about mitochondria, cellular energy, and wellness tools to help you support that.
So let's start with your outside terrain, which is your biggest organ on your body. That would be your
skin, right?
For some reason, men don't think they have skin, which is why I say it's your biggest organ, and everybody has it. And it is one of the most neglected organs that people are neglecting.
So let me ask you this. Why, what is the biggest reason why you created, Qoolness Skincare?
So I created it because I couldn't find what I want on the market, right? We go out to shopping for, these fancy skincare / makeup companies.
Yes.
And they have like a gajillion types of products that you can find. But if I'm looking for specific natural ingredients that I know can actually boost my skin's mitochondrial health, it helps with not just the appearance, but actually, it doesn't just help your skin look better, it's actually helping your skin is actually getting healthier. So, and I couldn't find that, and that's why I start learning how to make my own skincare. That was a journey. It took a couple of years, but that's where we are. I finally created Qoolness because I just couldn't find the products that I'm looking for.
So basically, you didn't create a skincare like every other skincare out there that is just hiding blemishes, hiding the crow's feet, hiding the lines.
You know what's crazy though? That there's skincare nowadays that they combine it with makeup and they have fillers in them. So it defeats the purpose of caring for your skin when you're actually covering up for your skin. Right? Caring for your skin means you can actually make it healthy, so you can show your skin without covering it up. That is sort of defeating the purpose of skincare.
That's crazy. It's almost like putting spackle on wall to cover holes in the wall, right?
Like that's why you see these really older actors. Hey, how come they have perfect skin? It's because there's fillers.
Or AI, right?
Well, yeah, one of those.
That's a huge point. I think people don't realize, like you said in the beginning, skin is our largest organ. And so many people think that health is really only about what goes inside our mouth, right? But more importantly, it's what actually goes on our body, right? How you breathe, what you're living around and what you expose yourself to daily, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, your skin is exposed to a lot, and that's why if you don't put some type of protection onto it, you're exposing yourself to a lot of toxins, a lot of bad stuff in your environment. So that's why I created Qoolness. It is to support women during a time that I was going through menopause and still am, but we want to take care of our skin in a more natural, more thoughtful way, not just to cover it up, because I never cover up. I still don't.
Yes, it's so amazing, like she's my wife, of course I'm going to talk well about her. But she never wears makeup. If you look at her, this is her natural look, and I think it is so important for women out there, like to show your inner beauty, right? Rather than trying to hide. And I see that you really achieve that with your Qoolness products. You're actually helping people shine naturally, right?
Naturally, I mean, remember a while ago we watched Miss Maisel?
Yes.
Marvelous Miss Maisel?
Marvelous Miss Maisel, yeah.
Remember when she first got married? So they were sleeping together on the same bed, right?
Yes.
And she has to get up extra early because she has to put on full makeup before the husband gets up.
Yes.
That is not the way to live. And that's why it didn't work out, because you're not showing your true self.
I think that is just so powerful, because it's really not about trying to hide your age, because I think like a lot of people are using skincare to try to hide their age, especially now the skincare that's made up with the makeup, right? It's not really supporting your vitality or longevity. It is basically just hiding your aging, but not actually helping you age.
So the other thing is, when you look in the mirror, you tend to see all the flaws in yourself. Other people don't see it.
Correct.
And you're trying to cover something that no one's going to see except yourself.
I love that. So let me ask you this. I think a lot of women out there is like, wow, I was the most prettiest when I'm in my 20s. What are your thoughts on that? Now that we're actually going to be 56 next week, right? Way past 20 now.
I mean, my 20s, I was pretty good. I think I'm prettier when I was a teenager. But I don't look that different now, like 40 years later, than when I was a teenager. It's still about how I feel about myself and how I see myself in my mind, not just with my eyes, right? Just in my head, I'm still the same person.
I love that. And, another really cool thing about Qoolness, and Minna doesn't talk about it a lot, because she designed it specifically for women in the 40s, that started with menopause. But, men have skin too, right?
You tell me about it.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your, Qoolness on, does it work with men?
It works with anybody that have skin, technically. And really, I'm not differentiate between dry skin, oily skin, or combination skin, or whatever skin you have. I have the most troublesome skin in the world. I have eczema as a kid. I have anemia. It's all sorts of bad, and I can use it. You just have to find the skincare product that doesn't have harmful ingredients that's going to hurt you.
And I think there's a key point there, because if you look at all these other skincare, they market as oily skin, dry skin, combination skin, young skin, old skin, man skin, woman skin. It's sort of crazy. And you design a product that works technically for everybody, right?
It works for everybody. For my purposes, I made it more hydrating, because I tend to be drier. It's the hormonal changes and everything.
Correct.
But it does work for everybody, and I have had people from all ages that has tried it and worked well for them.
Correct. So what do you tell people about all the different skincare out there? Like some of them, I just spoke with one of my mentors on finances, and she's talking about she's on this $1,000 skincare. Like, Is it better? How's it better? Is it worth the money?
Is it worth the money?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, even if it's $200,
Mm-hmm.
I would really hesitate about
Mm-hmm.
it. Skincare products, no matter what brand you buy, 95% is water,
Mm-hmm.
basic oil, and emulsifiers
Wow. Okay.
and preservatives.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No matter what kind of active ingredients they quote they have, it's usually less than 1%.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Things like hyaluronic acid,
Mm-hmm.
things like that, they are expensive.
Correct. Correct.
So if they have included those, they would bring up the price, but not to that kind of price point.
I hear you. So basically, I think people are getting tired of getting that products that overpromise and underdeliver, right? And really, more importantly, they're probably getting a lot of these chemicals or parabens or all these estrogen mimickers that you don't want, right? Like, do you have any of that in your product?
I don't have any in my product. The everything is natural, and the Shisanja berry extract I have to actually make myself because it's not on the market. It does have, I think, 0.8% natural preservatives in it because I have to sell it. So that's why it has to have the preservatives. It has to pass certain regulations.
Correct.
But yeah, mine doesn't. And really, when you're paying $1,000 for a jar of something, you probably just will it to work because you pay so much for it.
That's so true. So you created a product that's going to help people not only feel clean because they're using a cleaner product, but that's going to empower them to let the beauty out, right?
Yeah, so I want people to be comfortable in their own skin, so they don't always have to cover up. Whenever they go out, you don't cover up yourself when you go out for a walk, when you go grocery shopping or
Correct.
something. But some people do. They feel like they really have to put on the face before they go out and face the world. And I think that's one more stress point that we don't need to have as women. Men don't do it. Why would you?
You'd be surprised. I think there are some men that actually do, at least some of the men that I know. But, I think that is a very big takeaway for this segment that, beauty and your health should really work together, right? You shouldn't be hiding the problems because when you're hiding problems, those are probably problems with your health, right? So if there are conditions showing through, rather than hiding it, you're trying to let the beauty through and hydrating the skin naturally, right?
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about breakouts. Because teenagers, you get a lot of breakouts, remember?
Mm-hmm.
That's your body telling you something's happening, that you're going through some changes, and it's showing you on your face. Like, you don't like it for sure.
Yes.
But your body is telling you something. Your body is telling you that something's wrong. You need to change something, or you're going through some kind of changes.
I love how you say that because, for us as coaches, and we're always talking about the red lights, right? Traffic light, green light, go, red light is stop. And our bodies always have these red lights, these signals that something is going on. And, most people associate more with aches and pains. But, all these skin conditions that you hear about nowadays, those are literally your body screaming out for your help because, like you said, your skin is your biggest organ. Actually, it's your biggest detox organ, right?
For sure. Your skin detox a lot. That's why you sweat. Your skin actually peels off, right? So it detox a lot, and it also absorbs a lot of environmental toxins, chemtrails, dust mites, or whatever. If your house have mold, that's really bad. It goes through your skin, not just through your lungs. So your skin is your biggest protection. So you should protect it.
I love that. So I think, you should be always listening to your body and asking yourself, are the products that you're using every day, is it supporting your body's terrain? Or like you said, stressing it out more, right?
Well, I would say when you look in the mirror, don't just look for that wrinkle, right? Look for not just how you look at yourself, but how you feel. And sometimes you can figure out what's wrong with you just by feeling different parts of your body. But covering up doesn't help. Covering it just you're just delaying your problems. You're just hiding your problems.
I love that. I love that. So we started out with the outer terrain, which is your skin, which is your largest organ. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to dive in a little bit deeper in. We're going to talk about the mitochondria, the stuff that I geek out about, how our energy systems work, and most importantly, how our body's innate intelligence works and how we can boost that ability to recover faster. We'll be right back.
Why do 98% of beauty enthusiasts rave about coolness? It's all in the blend of ancient wisdom and modern science. Introducing Qoolness, Pearlescent Face and Eye Serum Cream. This powerhouse combines the antioxidative power of schisandra berries, the glow of pearl powder, and the hydrating wonders of dragon's blood extract. It's like a time machine for your skin, making it radiant, firm, and oh so smooth. Inspired by ancient Chinese traditions and backed by modern nutritional science, this serum cream is perfect for dry, mature, and aging skin. It's time to unlock your inner glow with Qoolness. Treat your skin to the best of both worlds today.
Everything we're made of contains light. From the sun that feeds our world to the energy that flows within us. With LifeWave X39, we've found a way to put that light to work. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHK-Cu, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality. By gently stimulating the skin with light, our non-invasive, non-transdermal X39 patches help you conquer your active lifestyle and pave a new way to vibrant health. Becoming a powerhouse is easier than you think. It all starts with your body and a little help from light. Place one LifeWave X39 patch on the body. Apply the patch to clean, dry skin in the morning. Patches may be worn for up to 12 hours before discarding. Keep well hydrated while using this product. Harness your natural potential. Reclaim youthful energy. Live long, live well, live young with LifeWave X39. Be the light. LifeWave.
Welcome back to Chronic Health Collective. So today we're talking about longevity, and before the break we talked about skincare, and you know how I mentioned schisandra berries?
Mm-hmm.
I was geeking out a little before the show, and I actually did find some scientific studies on schisandra berries. The Chinese people call it the five flavor fruit, and they tell you just, it's really good for you, it has a lot of benefits. The studies actually show that it does help boost mitochondrial function.
Oh, I love it.
Which, you can tell us about what in the world mitochondria is.
Mitochondria, it is one of the most important things inside our body. I really geek out about mitochondria because mitochondria is basically the powerhouses of our cell, right? They help our body create energy. And of course, we need energy to function, we need energy to recover, we need energy to perform, right? And when your mitochondria functions is lower, you definitely feel it.
So how would you feel it?
Well, your mitochondria charges up your cells. So if your mitochondria aren't working properly, everything sort of slows down into slow motion, right? So a lot of times you may be, if the mitochondria is slow in your brain cells, you might get a little brain fog. If it's slow in your muscle cells, you're going to be more laggy, more fatigued. You don't want to really work out, right? So, which can result in lower energy, right? You're going to have less resilience if you're working out or working throughout the day. You're just going to feel tired, But more importantly, like I said, it's powerhouses of your cells, right? So you almost have less spark, right? Some people would say, wow, you got so much energy. But the people that are low in mitochondrial energy, they just look like walking zombies, to be honest.
So I gotta tell you the story. Since you talk about energy,
Yes.
the time we came back from Dallas the other day, it was my mistake. I missed a turn, and we were supposed to go supercharging. So
Oh my God.
basically, long story short, we had to double back, and we went 25 miles longer than we had to. And because we were down to our last 10 miles on our 10 to 20 miles on our charger, I was going. Luckily, we have side roads.
Yes.
So on the side roads at like 15, 20 miles per hour for the stretch of 11 miles back to the supercharger.
Which felt like an eternity.
Which is exactly what's happening, right? When you're low on energy, you
Yes.
have to conserve. You're going slower than you have to. You feel really sluggish. And that's exactly what happened.
That is so true. I tell you, like, there's not a whole lot that stresses me and Minna out. And generally, we love our Tesla. We never run out of charge. But that particular day is like, we just wanted to push ourselves a little further, just pushing our car a little further because we wanted to get home a little quicker. And we maxed out the range. And if we listened and got out at the right exit, it would have been perfect. But we got the exit, and then I made the wrong left turn, and we went backwards, and then we added another 25 miles. But like you said, we had 10 miles left, and the car was yelling at us, you're going to run out of range, you're going to run out of range. We had to get on the highway. People were just like honking us and shit. But yeah, that's basically like our car low on energy. So, for us as people, you never want to be that low in charge, right? So, mitochondria is so important because as we age, mitochondria becomes bigger function because our mitochondria actually decline, right? We actually have less mitochondria, like less powerhouses in our cells. And a lot of people think, well, it's automatic when you age, but it's not true. It's not automatic. We can actually increase our mitochondria, but it's due to our stress, or poor sleep, or overload from Instagram, Facebook, and everything. Everything, the environment, the chemical exposure, the poor air quality, the modes, processed foods, like our food supply, even real foods now is getting pretty hard to figure out what to eat clean. I just met with a health coach, and we're just discussing, well, is eating organic good enough now? Because even organic is not as clean as it can be, right? And so it gets to a point that even our foods aren't that clean, and all this makes our body have a much lower recovery. And when your body's stressed with low mitochondria, now your nervous system is overloaded, and we're talking about terrain. This is affecting our terrain at a cellular level.
So you have a rechargeable battery. If your battery is dying, it doesn't mean you're getting older. You just need to charge your battery.
Yes, right. And charging the battery. Oh, there you go. You're moving our desk. Charging a battery is really important. And one of the things that I always talk about, even though I am a functional nutrition coach, and where I started, we always talk about food and exercise. But I think there's more to that now. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, food and exercise is important. We were on a keto diet for a couple of weeks. Actually, more than like a month now, right?
Yes.
And the other day we went to a theater. It's a dining theater. And of course they serve you food. And of course we ate it. And I felt like crap for the rest of the day. And it's already better than fast food. It's still made to order.
Correct.
But even then, it's not the same as the clean food, I guess.
Exactly. And I think what people don't realize is even sometimes when you're eating clean food and your body is not at an optimal state, like I said, when your mitochondria is low, your body can't even take in the nutrition of the clean food, and anything that's not clean in the food is going to even wipe you out faster. And I think that's why, it's important for us to look at some deeper tools that can actually help support our body's own communication systems, to support our body's innate intelligence.
Well, so the body is smart. is smarter than you think it is. So it's always trying to repair, it's trying to rebalance, to adapt to all these crap that we throw at it. And if you want to support that process, you need to give it the right ingredients.
Correct. And we really believe in trying to heal your body from the inside out, right? Nothing against doctors, nothing against drugs. They have their purpose, right? But we really believe that our bodies, when you support it, right, with the proper protocols, it can actually start repairing on its own, right? And, so we're always looking for non-invasive tools, right? Ways that can elevate our body's natural processes, right? And, one of the products, if you've been following me for the last 2-3 years, is LifeWave, right? And, I've been so passionate of LifeWave because it's non-invasive and it's light-based. It's using your own body's light energy to create peptides. And I think that's really powerful.
Yeah, so we talk about terrain and we talk about supporting it and how terrain is everything around us. And it's not everything that you can see because you cannot see dirt in your air. You cannot see chemicals in your air. You cannot see toxins in your soil. For the same reason, you cannot see light frequency. You cannot see a host of other stuff that now I can think of right now. But just because you cannot see it, or you can hear it, you can feel it, doesn't mean it's not there. Some people can see auras. Cats can see your auras, but you can't see it. Doesn't mean it's not there.
I love that. And, one of the most basic, simple premises out there is so many people think that when you go out, you always hear, get some sunshine and you make vitamin D, right? Well, yes, you see the light coming in, but do you actually see that UV light, which is invisible, that is actually, shining on your skin that gets your body to create vitamin D? The sun doesn't give you vitamin D, but once again, it's a certain frequency of the sun that's stimulating your body. So, it's really about signaling, certain frequencies, how to signal your body to heal itself. And I think it's really quite crazy because you're signaling your body. There's communication, there's energy flow. There's just this rhythm that your body does when it's supported with certain frequencies.
So let's talk about signaling. How do we support it?
Well, specifically if you're talking about signaling for, are you talking about like signaling how, with LifeWave product or, so with LifeWave product, with signaling, what it is it's, our bodies emit infrared light. Like you said, we don't see it, but if you watch Animal Planet, you watch, army shows, Ghost Hunters, exactly. You wearing those infrared goggles, right? Every living thing emits infrared light. And the beauty of how LifeWave products work is, it is actually quite cool. It is just a little patch that looks like this, right? And you put it on your body, and depending on which patch you're wearing, it reflects back certain frequencies that will stimulate your body, that will signal your body to start producing and elevating peptides like GHKCU, glutathione and carnosine, right? And, all these peptides, they help your body recover faster, better skin regeneration, better antioxidant support. And most importantly, there's a lot of studies now for GHKCU that it can help reverse aging.
So I guess the good news over the last 5 years is because we've been so screwed with the vaccines, COVID, and everything. There's actually a switch, a turning point where people are looking for more wellness, more natural ways to wellness, as opposed to just asking the doctor for a pill.
Correct.
So I'm seeing that shift. What do you think about that?
I think that shift is happening, and one, because I think there's less trust in the medical system, right? Like I said, the medical system, there's a purpose for it. But there's definitely a lot less trust going on with everything that happened in the last 4 or 5 years. If people have been following us, they know our thoughts on that. So we're not going to dive into that, but let's just leave it at that. And then, more people are more aware now that there aren't any silver bullets. I was just talking about Ozempic with my health coach friend, and we're just shaking our head. And so many people are on it, and so many athletes and actors are promoting it, which I doubt they're using, but they're promoting this product that is so bad, and people think that is a magic bullet, but there are so many things that it can affect your body in the long term, right? And people don't realize that. They want that magic bullet, they want that quick fix, but we are looking at creating ways to create a better environment for your body naturally, right? To us, that is what I believe is the terrain mindset, right? We want to create a terrain where our body can thrive on, right? We're not trying to override the body. We're creating ways how we can support the body.
So what I think it's empowering that we're seeing more people not just look to get to the doctors to get a fix. Now they're realizing that there's more to healthy than just popping pills.
Correct.
Right. So that's what we talk about praying. And sometimes, sometimes your body is overburdened.
Correct.
Or overstressed. What do you think about that?
I think the problem with most people nowadays is they are blaming everything on age. They're, like for instance.
That's what the doctors tell you, right?
Yeah, right.
Is
Like Chuck Norris just recently passed, right? And I love Chuck Norris. Not going, talking about actors and stuff, but there's certain things that happen with him, and and then he's 86. He died at a good old age, but this is probably one of the healthiest guys on the planet. And conspiracy theorists aside, I'm sure there's something that he'd taken that affected him that let him just pass away so suddenly, right? But our message here is we don't want you thinking that your body becomes broken once it gets older, right? Stop listening to that story, right? Just because you get old, you're broken. Don't see yourself as broken, right? I think it's sometimes our bodies are just so depleted, right? It's burdened. It's burdened with all these things that we talk about environment, right? That's why our terrain is so important. And even though we're eating, we're exercising, we're still under recovered, right? No one's doing active recovery. Everyone is like, work out harder, eat less calories, burn more calories. It's crazy, but everyone is doing the hard workouts, but no one's doing the rest, right? No one's doing the support they need. And to be honest, that's where the magic happens, is when you rest, rest and digest when you're sleeping, for food, but then you also need to rest to recover from all that exercise too. And sometimes our bodies just don't have that energy to do it because, once again, we just don't have the mitochondria. It normally declines of age, but our terrain is just so poisoned. It's very hard, and that's something that we really want help people clean up that terrain.
So how do we actually clean up the terrain?
I think, by cleaning up the terrain, we really need to figure out certain ways how we can support our body's natural processes. Like I said, LifeWay is one of the ways of doing it. We have PEMF technology that is working, coming up on the next episode, on the next segment that we're going to talk about. But it is about giving our body the frequencies that it thrives on, right? One of the things that I just read recently is, which will probably relate to you, is like 432 hertz, right? You know how, that is a healing frequency, but a lot of music is converted to 440 hertz, right? It's like,
yeah, I don't get that.
Right?
Why?
Well, because they don't want it healing, right? Once again, I don't know who's the one that converted that, but they basically took away a resonance that is healing for all things, not just humans, like all things, to a frequency just off by 2 hertz, and it doesn't heal. So this just proves to
8
you.
hertz.
Oh, 8 hertz, yeah. There you go. See, I was never good with math, right? But, it just really comes down to, just the frequency our bodies work on. The light's important. Our bodies get activated by light. And how can we support that? Like, how can we resonate with the right frequencies? How can we activate, our innate ability to heal itself,
Yeah, I mean, your body isn't, you're not a car, so you don't just give it oil and gas and, change the motor oil. There's more to that. And a lot of things is like PMF, frequencies, oxygen, which you can't see, but they are actually what your body really needs.
So the next time when you're feeling that crash, right, be like, oh, do I need more food, right? Do I need another sugar rush? Do I need to eat a banana, right? Man, that drives me nuts when I see people eat a banana in between badminton games. Stop asking the question is like, what do I need to do to take care of this crash, right? More importantly is like, how do I build a body that doesn't crash anymore, right? Like, how do you support your body where you have the energy constantly, right? And I think that's really, really important, and it all comes down to terrain. And in the next segment, we're gonna wrap this up with one of the things that is so important for our bodies to survive on that no one ever talks about, right? And that's oxygen, right? But we'll be right back right after these messages.
Is your skin aging, dry, tired, and dull? Are you putting on more and more makeup to cover the fine lines and flaws? Now you don't have to. Qoolness skincare, developed by a middle-aged woman just like you. 2 years in formulating, pearlescent face and eye serum cream with Schisandra berries and dragon's blood extract for your face, eye, and neck. And the vegan version, Deep Love Face Cream, featuring powerful blue tansy. This face cream is everything you are looking for. Feel your beauty. Visit Qoolness.com or scan the QR code for more information.
I just love that the Qoolness skincare. I use that every day. See, nice and bright and no makeup on me too. But let's get back into the show. So in this third segment, me and Minna's been on this mission to help 2 million people around the world. We don't talk about this enough, right? Regardless if it's just through us directly or through the rest of the Chronic Health Collective and the Chronically Healthy Life universe. But one of the steps that I really wanted to do, I was really passionate about, is trying to bring some of the biohacking technology that we use at home so we can start sharing it out to the people out there. And that's why, I created O2Pulse Lab, right? It is something that I'm very passionate about to help people stop living in survival mode and calling it normal and start just thriving, being the optimal, being the best they can be.
So, we saw Project Hail Mary over the weekend, and astronauts, right? It's all about terrain. It's about how they can survive in their environment. But the one thing that all astronauts need is oxygen. They need to breathe and water, right?
Correct.
So there's two things they need: oxygen and water. Oxygen is what we talk about here.
So when it comes to oxygen, oxygen's important. Like our cells need oxygen, our brain need oxygen, right? More importantly, recovery depends on oxygen. Our immune system, yeah, depends on oxygen. And not saying that I'm a doctor or giving any medical advice, but a lot of viruses, a lot of the big C, they cannot survive in a high oxygen state. So if your body is very highly aerobic, meaning it has a lot of oxygen, your immune system, you are just so much stronger against all diseases, right? So, but that's why. But a lot of people don't talk about it enough about oxygen, and that's why we created the O2Pulse Lab. We're gonna have hyperbaric oxygen therapy, or what's short as HBOT, and this is a very important part of the equipment we have there. And elite athletes have it, billionaires, biohackers, they all have these at home. And in the past, it was just freakishly expensive to own these things, but we sourced it out, and now we're bringing it to people to use so they can support the recovery, to support the resilience, to increase the performance. Like if you're an athlete, this is increase your performance, or even if you are a CEO, this is going to increase your brain performance, right? Your overall wellness, your longevity. HBOT is just so powerful by bringing your oxygen levels to the next level.
Yeah, when you are in a high oxygen environment, it clears your head, right? So you're actually smarter. You don't. I don't want to say make less mistake. It just makes you smarter. And it's actually also calms you down, because now that you have oxygen, it takes you out of the fight and flight mode.
Agreed. And I think when you have more oxygen, it is supporting your body to recover faster, right? And, part of O2Pulse Lab is, I was thinking about what other biohacking technology that we can use to support our body, right? And we decided to use PEMF, right? Specifically PEMF, which is pulse electronic magnetic frequency therapy, once again, frequencies, and it's combined with red light therapy, so we got light, and then of course we got infrared heat. So we got these modalities that come together that acts as multiple wellness tools, right? To activate your body's own ability to relax better, to have better circulation, to have better recovery. It's like almost like an ozone sauna, like for your face, like a skin sauna. Like a lot of people do these ozone skin facials, right? This is all what's happening inside the hyperbaric chamber, right? And then when you pair that with the certain frequencies, depending on if you're looking for better recovery, better sleep, better energy, we can activate that too through certain frequencies.
Yeah, that's why the hyperbaric chamber and the PEMF, the combination is effective, right? It's not just a trendy tool. It's not just something that, hey, lately people have been using it. It's actually something that people have been using for ages, for years. Right. We just now bring it to the market so more people can use it.
I love what you said that, because like I said, these things used to be secrets, right? It's like the elite of the elite had these all at home. And back in the day, these equipment cost $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, right? So of course, only they can afford it. But even if you can afford it, no one knows about it. So people are starting to learn a little bit more about it. And that's why we really want to start educating people, why this is so important, because this is elevating your body's own ways to regenerate itself. I'm just trying to be really careful, because we don't want to say it heals anything, but it really does, elevate your body to regenerate and fix certain problems that may come across, right? And I think that's important for everyone to start trying these things that are natural, rather than going for the magic bullet, looking for the next shot, next pill, or anything like that.
Yeah, so the combination of HBOT and PEMF, it takes like an hour.
Yep.
And we do it almost every day, right? So when we spend an hour every day doing that. I feel it's a better investment of our time than for someone else out there just popping pills right now, and they have to pay for it later.
Exactly. And, the beauty of it is you're in this environment where you can do one or two things, right? You can either be chilling out with an iPad, you'd be watching a movie, playing a brain game, or just put into meditation mode and run a meditation in the background, right? And it can be as relaxing or as engaging as you want, but it is basically your time to relax. There's nothing to think about. You just chillaxing for the whole hour there, right? And you can choose to do a full HBOT for the hour, or like Minna says, you can do a combination, like a 20-30 minutes session for both. And depending really on what you need during that time, that day, is something that we can recommend which protocol you be using.
Yeah, because we talk about stacking biohacking methods a lot, right? So you can do your breathing exercises inside an HBOT, and that actually double the, how do you say it? Half the time, double the results. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Right? You just have to be careful, right? Because some people, you might be breathing too much oxygen, right? But there's, there's sort of things that you can do inside the HBOT, but, meditation, and of course, there's different pressures that we can acclimate you to. So we'll start everyone slow, but, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just like any new technology, there's a learning curve. And until you try it, you don't know what you're missing,
Yeah, so we talk about longevity a lot on this episode. Just to reiterate, longevity is not about your age. It's about how you live your life through your years.
Correct. And we're talking about supporting your health span, right? Because so many people, they think longevity is about lifespan, right? And I know a lot of people, including my parents, your parents, other people there that live a long time. And when I'm saying a long time, over 80. There are, we of course want to live much longer than that, right? But a lot of people think, that's our lifespan, right? We're not talking about lifespan. We're talking about improving your health span. Your health span is your healthy years during that lifespan, right? So that's what longevity is. It's the future quality of life, right? So I think it's not about, it's not about dragging yourself through a wheelchair or getting someone to take care of you as you're older, but to basically do anything and everything, whatever you want as you get older, right?
Yeah, because we as a collective, we have a bunch of coaches, and we talk about purpose, talk about other modalities of health. We talk about why you want to live the way you want to, and talk about with overcoming fear and all that. This is about living your best life.
Correct. And when it comes down to living your best life, we really believe you should have control of that. So many people, they give that control over to their doctors, their therapists, and stuff like that. Someone telling them what they need to do, what they need to take, and stuff like that, right? I think working with coaches, you need to do the work, right? They're not telling you to do, we're just working together on giving you modalities. And like you said, through the Chronic Health Collective, we gather coaches in all modalities, and we realize that everyone has a different thing that they may be suffering through, right? But, for us, longevity is our expertise, and that's what this, the heart of this whole issue. Why did we create Qoolness, right? Why is skincare so important? Why are we recommending LifeWave products? It's because of frequency. And more importantly, is why did we start O2Pulse Lab, right? It's I could have kept all this equipment at home and not shared to the world, and people can still be asking, Andy and Minna, why are you guys always looking so young and so much energy? Well, here's the secret, but we're not going to tell you. We're opening up Pandora's box. We're sharing the secret to everybody, and we're making it readily available to everyone. But, you need to take that first step. You need to take that first step to want to elevate your body's health, to want to activate your body's innate intelligence.
So, we talk about building a better terrain for your skin, how you look, for your energy, for recovering, for resilience, for longevity. What's next?
Well, next, I don't know what is next. That's a great question, right? Because I think once you got everything solved, and even us, we don't got everything solved. That's why I'm always learning from other coaches, right? But getting the terrain working correctly is very important. It's just sort of like, you talk about the Tesla, right? Imagine you're plugging it into the wall, expecting to have a full battery tomorrow, and it charged 50%. What happened? Like, was it the electricity? Was it the battery? What was it, right? More likely is the battery got degraded and it can't take on the charge anymore. And that's what we're really talking about is we want to keep our batteries charged, our mitochondria charged, right? Our terrain clean where we can get the best full charge, right? And I think that's really important is, you want to create a body that can not only survive today, but thrive for years to come, right?
Yeah, same as how you use up the battery, you have to recharge it. Your body does the same thing. That's why these biohacking techniques, it's not a one-time thing. You don't just do it once and you think that'll be done for life. You have to keep going at it. It's like eating. You have to eat your food every day. You do this every day.
Yeah, it's conditioning, right? It's not, you talk about batteries. There's battery conditioning. Not just one charge fixes it. Sometimes you have to charge it all the way down and slowly charge it back up. It's the same thing. So a lot of these strategies we talk about, it takes time, but the magic happens is like once it hits that optimal peak, everything changes.
Yeah, so I guess the takeaway for today is to start thinking about your terrain.
Yeah, it's like, what are you giving or doing each day to support your terrain, right? Because I think what we're giving you is, we're not talking about guilting you, right? Because a lot of people think, oh, Andy, you're always trying to guilt us into this, guilt us into that. But it's really more about awareness, right? I think once you're aware, once you know something, you cannot forget something you know. I think that's really important. And awareness leads to better choices, right?
For sure. So, what's next?
Well, what's next is if people want to learn more about supporting the terrain, common terrain after our episodes, right? Reach out to us to learn more about, Qoolness, skincare, right? Or schedule a call of us at, longevitywithandy.com. And, we can talk about how we can help with your terrain. We got, come visit us at O2Pulse Lab. We're located in Katy if you're local in Texas. But, we got a lot of amazing things coming up, and, we really just wanted to share with you what all these last 4 or 5 years is building up to. And, there's going to be some amazing things. And, if today's talk, resonated with you, if you know someone that's just tired all the time, or just telling you, man, I just can't get through a day without coffee, or after work, oh man, that workout kicked my ass, I blew up my knee, or, oh, this is all part of aging. Well, I call BS on that, tell them to watch this episode, tell them to reach out to us, we can help them rebuild their terrain because, our mission here is to help, to help people do more than just survive. We want people to thrive.
So, why don't you tell people how to get to O2Pulse?
To the O2Pulse? Yeah, so the best way to look into O2Pulse is O2PulseLab.com, right? We have all our different pricing strategies depending on how often you want to come. Or we actually have our first visit, at a discount at $59 right now. It's normally $97. So go to O2PulseLab.com, check us out. If there's any questions, email us. I'd love to answer any questions you have.
Of course, let's wrap this up. And, if you like us, subscribe to our monthly magazine. You get top expert tips from our coaches that will elevate your health, your mindset, and relationships. And catch us back here live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. CST. Or watch past episodes anytime on e360tv.com or YouTube at Chronic Health Collective.
Well, thanks for tuning in. Your transformation starts now, and we'll see you all next week.